G'day guys, welcome to AFL Legends Unite. I'm Daryl Atkinson and today I'm actually going to be reviewing the first ever Good Friday clash. And this one was very interesting. I wasn't too surprised about the margin at all. It was North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs taking it on, and the North Melbourne Football Club, despite all the losses, they got quite a young list, indeed. They got, I keep saying it, the second youngest list in the comp. And yeah, no, they've been absolutely outstanding. It's just they can't finish games, they can't hold on to a lead in the last quarter, and they're always drain out. They did this, I think, 3-4 years ago. The same thing. I think they lost. I think there was like it was 7 wins. Seven games where they lost by less than a goal. So they lost by 3 points here. It was an outstanding performance in the end by the Western Bulldogs to hold their nerve and to get that lead back, despite the inaccuracy. But it was a very even game, very sloppy in the first half, I should say. Very unprofessional by both sides in the first half. Very disappointing. But they both cleaned their act up and started playing decent football. And that disposal efficiency went shooting right up. 73% North, 80% Western Bulldogs. I think it may have been quite devastating for the North Melbourne Football Club, just because, you know, it's starting to be a constant scenario for them, losing close games. But I would still be impressed. You haven't been smashed yet. I know you haven't won a single game. You're 0-4. Along with the Sydney Swans and possibly with Hawthorn, because this is Monday and the game hasn't even started yet. It will start in a couple of hours. But I wouldn't be too disappointed. I'd be actually proud of how North Melbourne have been performing. And it's a rebuilding stage, and I'm telling you that because, you know, it is. It is. Like, you got some decent players who have got experience, but you do have quite a young list that's coming through, and you're starting all over again. And that's fine. That's fine. That's what I expected you guys to do, and that's why I wanted you guys to do, because you weren't going to win a premiership with the list you had last year. You weren't. That's a fact. It's a fact. And yeah, Brad Scott, I feel like, has made the correct call and correct decision. And he's an experienced coach, and I definitely, you know, he's had a lot of controversies over the years, but I'm on his side with this. As for the Western Bulldogs, I do have to say I'm very disappointed with the way they're going so far this year. They've been shocking, absolutely shocking this year. No, I'm going to go all the way back to round 1, where they won by 14 points against a very inaccurate Collingwood side who only had one less scoring shot. Oh, sorry, they had one more scoring shot than the Western Bulldogs. And that was the start. That was, you know, maybe I thought, you know, they'll shake it off. Maybe they will just bounce back next week. They did bounce back next week. They won by 23 points against Sydney, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. But Sydney did have a very young list at the moment. They got quite a few injuries, so they got quite young talent, and that's why they haven't won a single game yet this year. Round 3, they took on... Oh, sorry, I was about to say something else there. Fremantle, that's right. And you got absolutely humiliated by 16 points against the Dockers, and they had one more scoring shot than you, and that was me. That was me, and that's when I realised this isn't the Western Bulldogs of 2016. This is the Western Bulldogs of the past. They're, well, not really the past, because the past they'll technically be getting smashed by 100 points week in, week out. This is just a Dogs side that's gone a couple steps backwards. You're winning games, but you're not showing dominance. You're not showing the kind of dominance we saw in the finals last year. Like, yes, last year you also didn't show too many dominance in multiple games, but I expect heading into this year a bit more dominance, a bit more ferocity around the ball. But I just felt like, you know, the Dogs have been more contained. They've been put under leash in quite a few plays this year, and just haven't shown enough for me to think they're a premiership threat yet. And I'm not sure if there's going to be another bye between round 23 in the first week of the finals like there was last year. And if there isn't, I won't have the Dogs, passing into the prelims at the moment. There's a lot of problems. Accuracy, yes, is one of them, but a lot of problems in terms of ball use also, because you were very sloppy in that first half. So was North Melbourne, but I'm giving a lot of leeway to North Melbourne because they're starting again. But yeah, it was just highly disappointing. North did jump to a 29-point lead in that third quarter. 29 points against the Dogs. I mean, yes, you won the game, but you gave the second youngest side in the comp a 5-goal lead. Especially it was in the third quarter. Well, if it was in any quarter, for a premiership side to do that, it's... And I understand that you got still a young list at the Western Bulldogs, but you're just not backing it up with what we saw last year in the finals. Lindsey Thomas played his 200th game. However, he's been highly disappointing in front of goal. In fact, I will give you that stat right now. Thomas. He kicked 0 goals and 3 behinds, including that last shot in the last 5 seconds of the game to win it. He just has no more composure. He just doesn't know how to kick goals anymore. And he's not the only one. Your average team's not able to kick goals. How many teams have been inaccurate this year? Inaccurate in round 4 so far. We're not concluding Monday's game, guys, because I'm filming this at 1:14 p.m. on Monday, so the Hawthorn-Geelong game hasn't even started yet. Still a couple of hours before that happens. But yes, Collingwood 7:13, Saints 9:15, Port Adelaide 11:15, North Melbourne 12:14, and Western Bulldogs 12:17. This is the age of inaccuracy. I do have to say, both sides. A lot of sides just not accurate enough. I think the most accurate side so far in this round is the Adelaide Crows, kicking 24 goals, 9 behinds, absolutely murdered Essendon. So you're just not seeing these sort of dominance on the field and taking opportunity anymore. Looking at the stats, North Melbourne had more disposals at 395 to 377. They were more prompted in handballing than kicking, which is probably where they go. Probably the correct decision. I actually have to be honest. Like if you bomb it, because most teams now bomb it, and if you bomb it, you lose it, unless the opposition's also bombing, so you might win that one. The only time I've ever seen a team win a game from bombing is the Carlton Football Club against Essendon back in round 3, and that's just because of wet weather. Wet weather, it's all about territory and gaining those territories. You can't just play clean football because it's wet. So you're just gonna, you try to hand pass, and your teammate's not gonna catch it too well. Especially in those conditions. Those conditions were flooding conditions. It was just constantly raining, so that's understandable. But, it was very sloppy, but you did pick up in the second half. Both sides did, and that disposal efficiency just rose up. Turn that back on, because I need that. Actually, I better head back to that game, because I want to get team stats on something I'm very passionate about soon. Actually, I'll read on my phone, because my phone's literally, the AFL app literally has everything I want. Time in possession, 43% to North Melbourne, 40% to the Western Bulldogs. But the last 10 minutes, there was easily won by the Western Bulldogs at 34-20. So efficiency inside 50. I found this quite interesting. I found this very interesting. 62%. 62%. It probably won't be the biggest. I think Adelaide would have the biggest, but for North Melbourne, that's very impressive. You look at the Dogs, 44%. See, they had plenty of inside 50s. 45-61. That's absolutely outstanding by North Melbourne. See, if they go inside 50, they're going to take their chances. They just obviously weren't accurate enough to do it. I prefer to have goals from 45 inside 50, so I prefer that. I can actually do that stat. Hold on, where am I? Actually, I will do that stat for you guys. There was 45 inside 50s and only 12 goals scored. I don't like including behinds because, you're not... Behinds, no one really gives a shit unless it's like, after the siren scores a level. So there was 12 goals and 45 inside 50s. Times by 100. 26.66% accuracy. Not good. But if you're a Western Bulldogs supporter, better cover your ears now. It's going to be a lot worse. Whoopsies. There we go. 19.7% accuracy. That's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I'm actually interested to see Adelaide. Now, I know a lot of you will be like, oh, what's this? What's LA going to do with this? What's LA going to do with this? The reason why I want Adelaide here is because they kicked 24 goals and 9 behinds. How many inside 50s they had? They had 63. So that's still going to be quite below 50%, but 63, right? Oh, don't freeze on me now. Thank you. 38.1%. That's horrendous. The age of inaccuracy. What about Bombers? How many inside 50s? They had 47, but they had 13. That might be a bit high. It was a 47. 27.7. Jesus, these are low. These are shocking. Okay. And you probably ask, what about Carlton? What about Carlton? You know, the worst side in the comp. Well, they're not technically the worst side in the comp. The worst side in the comp's Sydney at the moment. I'm going with Hawthorn because I'll probably I'll say if they're the worst when that game's over. And it's quite possible they might be. But anyway, oh, don't freeze now. Phone's absolutely... Sorry, my computer's absolutely useless. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work. But that's okay. I'll just keep clicking that. But yes, as for North Melbourne, they're on the right path. They're on the right path. They know how to win games. Well, not really know how to win games, but they know how to perform at a respectable level. A respectable level from what I was actually expecting of them. Anyway, for the Cunnington had to be probably one of the best players. Actually, I'm going to go Delhouse with this one because he kicked 2 goals. He had one more less disposal. He had 32 disposals, but he kicked 2 goals, and goals are very crucial. So, you know, I'd say he's the best. Cunnington did have 33 disposals. I want to know clearances. Who had the most clearances? Give me those clearances, baby. Seaball. Inside 50 passes, 30 seconds. Oh, yeah, no, that's all good. Oh, he had 10 clearances. 33 disposals and 10 clearances, Cunnington. That's actually pretty good. I actually think that's fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna go Cunnington, unless it can give me Dalhouse's 32 possessions, 6 tackles and 2 goals. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cunnington. Those clearances are key. Those clearances are key. However, I'm actually 79% disposal efficiency is done. That's pretty good. How many turnovers? 3 turnovers. So again, I can go into detail with the app, and that's what I'm doing. So sorry if I'm looking down constantly, guys. I'll try and do this. Try and look up for you guys. Is this Delhouse? Yes, this is Delhouse's stat. 75% disposal efficiency. So turnovers 4. Yeah, 5 intercepts. Same thing, but 100% accuracy in front goal. 4 clearances. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go Cunnington, despite the fact that they lost. I just felt like he had a bit more of an impact. And yeah, that's very interesting. Anyway, guys, straight up, we do have 2 injuries, both for the Western Bulldogs. Concussion to Boyd, obviously, should be fine this week. Cloak did some rib damage. I'm not entirely sure. Oh wait, here we go. And for the goals, North Melbourne's Brown definitely led it with 4 goals. Turner, Simpkin kicked 2 goals each. Higgins, Garner, Goldstein and Zeeble 1. Stringer, Dalhouse and Suckling kicked 2 goals each. Cloak, Bontham, Murph, Libber, Dunkley and McRae kicked 1 goal each. So anyway, guys, checking next week for both sides. Yeah, so next week we'll do this again because I don't think I did North Melbourne. Yeah, so North will take on Fremantle at the main stadium. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Fremantle have gone back-to-back wins. Yes, they beat Melbourne at the MCG. But what can North Melbourne do at the moment? They don't have a good record there, so they might struggle. But it's going to be interesting. As for the Dogs, they take on the Brisbane Lions at Etihad Stadium. That should be an easy win for them. The Lions absolutely got humiliated against Richmond at the Gabba, so that wasn't too good. But yeah, that's it from me here today, guys. Hope that gives you a bit of an insight to the game. You all stay safe, take care, and I shall see you in the next video.